Hey you guys, welcome back and welcome if you are new. My name is Sam and welcome to my channel. This week I have had the flu, so don't mind the voice, don't mind the snuffiness. It's been a whole hot mess, but we're going to make some delicious food today. I am in the mood for just some light, healthy dishes, and that's what we're going to be making this week is some delicious, healthy, good food. So we're going to be making Greek style baked butter beans today. These are so good. I've had these so many times before. They're really, really good. I'm going to start out with some olive oil in my pan here. This particular recipe comes from the Mediterranean dish cookbook. It's really good. All of her recipes so far have been delicious. So if you want to check her book out, I've got a link down in the description box. It's under Shop My Books. It should be there. It's really good. I highly recommend her book. But we're going to continue on with the recipe. I've got my skillet here over medium-low heat. And I'm going to preheat my oven to 375 degrees. So that's going. And I've added about 1/4 cup of olive oil to my pan. And I'm going to grab my vegetables. In here, I've got some carrots, celery, and some onion. And I'm just going to add all of these right in here. I cooked some butter beans last night in the Instant Pot just for this particular recipe because I could not find any canned butter beans anywhere. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to this. I'm going to cook these vegetables down for about 5 minutes just until they're tender, and then we will add some garlic. Alright, so the vegetables are nice and tender. I'm going to go in and add about 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to mix this around and let this start to cook up until it gets nice and fragrant. Should take about 30 seconds or so. Once you start to smell that garlic, you're ready to go in and add the next ingredients. So I've got a can of, this is 28 ounces of diced tomatoes with the juices. Turn my heat down a little bit to low. Got that in there. I'm going to add some water. I've got some parsley here. It calls for 1/2 cup. I don't have 1/2 cup. I just barely had 1/4 cup in my garden that was left over. That's holding on, I should say. As well as some thyme. This is fresh thyme, but you can do dried on both. I've got some oregano here, and I need, get my spoon here, I need about 1½ teaspoons of oregano. I also need some red pepper flakes. Now with red pepper flakes, just add to your heat preference. I'm just going to add a little bit because I don't want it too spicy. Not today anyway. I'm also going to add in some cinnamon. Now if you're not used to having cinnamon, I would go, like in savory dishes, I would go a little bit light-handed. But just for the sake, I'm going to add about 1/4 teaspoon. You can add up to 1/2 teaspoon. I'm also going to add in a little bit more salt and pepper. And I'm also going to add in a bay leaf. Let's get one that's not broken half. That one will work. Okay, move some of this stuff around. I'm going to give this a nice little mix together before I add my beans. Now, like I said, if you can find dried butter bean, not like canned, if you can find canned butter beans, I would use those. But I made some last night in the Instant Pot. Just rinse them really well, put them in the Instant Pot, 50 minutes, good to go. I did a quick release, and then I just let them cool, and then I just put them in a bowl and put them in the fridge. So I've got those here, and I'm just going to add about 2 cans worth of beans. And I'm going to get this all mixed together. Once I get this mixed together, I'm going to let this cook for about 5 minutes. I'm going to turn my heat back up. It's about medium-low. Once it's cooked for 5 minutes, I'm going to put this in the oven at 375, and I'm going to let this cook for about 25 minutes. And then this will be good to go. Just remember to remove the bay leaf before you serve it. So I am going to let this do its thing, put this in the oven for about 25-30 minutes, and then I will show you what it looks like when it is done. Once this comes out of the oven, I just topped it with some crumbled feta cheese. This was so easy and delicious. Now, I served this with some pita bread. If you do not like butter beans, you can serve this with any other kind of white style beans, or chickpeas would be really good in this, but this was so easy and it was absolutely delicious. Hey you guys, so today it is forecasted to snow later this afternoon and into tomorrow, so I figured it would be a good day to make some soup. So today I'm going to be making some tomato soup. I am making some harissa, red lentil, and tomato soup. It is so good. So I've got my pan here, or my pot here, over medium-low heat, and I'm just going to add some olive oil to the bottom of my pot. And I've got a whole bunch of carrots and celery and some onion that I've got diced up. I'm just going to add all of that in there. Yes, I do use the leaves of the celery. There's a lot of flavor in that, but you can skip the celery leaves if you don't want them. And I'm also going to season this up with a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, we'll give this a little mix, and we're going to let this cook down for about 5 to 7 minutes until all of these vegetables are nice and tender. And then I'll bring you back and we'll add some more deliciousness. Alright, so the vegetables are getting nice and tender. I'm going to go ahead and add in some minced garlic. And let this get fragrant. Now I'm going to add in some seasoning. I got some coriander, cumin, and some turmeric. I'm going to add that right in here. And we're going to stir this around and let this toast up a minute. Oh, that smells just delicious. I am so excited for this soup. Alright, so I've got some tomato paste here. I've got about 3 tablespoons in here, so that's what I'm going to add. Just going to add the rest of this in here. That's what I've got. Okay. And give that a little mix around the pan. Get that tomato paste nice and toasty. Just a minute. Oh, if you guys could smell this, it smells just delicious. I've got some diced tomatoes here, and I'm gonna head and chop those up while the carrots and everything were softening up. So I'm just gonna add all of that right in here, juices and all. Okay, and those tomatoes are going to start to deglaze the bottom of this pan and get all of that wonderful flavor off. And we're going to let this cook for just a couple of minutes, just to soften those tomatoes slightly. So this is going to take about 5 minutes. All right, so this is nice and cooked down. I've got some red lentils here. These are split lentils, but you can use the whole lentils. It's up to you. And I'm just going to add all of these right in here. They are rinsed and drained really, really well. And to that, I'm going to add some chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock. Okay, and 1 extra cup of water just to help cook these lentils down. We're going to mix all of this together. Make sure all of these lentils are broken up into the soup. The red split lentils was the only thing I could find at the Asian store. Our grocery store does not carry red lentils for some reason, but the split lentils will do just fine. So now I'm just going to raise my heat and bring this up to a boil, and I'm going to let this boil for about 5 minutes. Once it has boiled for 5 minutes, I'm going to reduce the heat down and cover it with a lid, and then I'm going to let it simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then I will bring you back and we will add some more ingredients. All right, you guys, it has been about 20 minutes, and this is pretty much done. We've got a few extra things to add to it. I've got some fresh squeezed lemon juice here. I'm going to add that in there. Give that a little stir. Next up, I've got some harissa paste. Now, this comes in 3 different heat preferences. You've got mild, medium, and hot. I've got mild. So we're going to add about 2 to 4 tablespoons of harissa. I'm going to add in about 4 because mild is really not all that spicy, and it's going to be delicious. And I'm going to give this a little mix around the pan, or the pot. I don't know why I keep wanting to call this a pan. And this is pretty much done. I'm going to cut my heat off. I'm going to grab a spoon here, and I'm going to check this for seasoning. See if we need to add any more salt or pepper. I'm going to add a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper. So season to your taste. I'm going to grab a clean spoon and give this another little taste and see if we added enough salt. And then this will be ready to go. Now you can serve this however you want. I'm not in the mood for grilled cheese today. I did not make any bread anyway, so I'm just going to serve it with some pita. I've got plenty of pita left over from the other day, so that's what I'm going to serve it with. But you can most definitely serve this with some grilled cheese. It would be absolutely delicious. So I'm going to give this another little taste. And then I will plate this up and I will show you my bowl of delicious soup. Alright, you guys, here is my bowl of this delicious tomato and red lentil soup. This was so good. Like I said, you can make a grilled cheese to go with this. It would be absolutely delicious. I served it with pita bread and it was just so good, dunked in that tomato soup. So good. Highly recommend this one. All recipes will be linked down in my description box below for you guys so you can check them all out. Alright, you guys, so we have got some snow today and we have been outside in the snow, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on dinner. I'm making pollo agrodolce. It is a chicken dinner. It's a one-pan dinner. I've got the oven set to 375. I've got some rice going in my Instant Pot here, and then we're going to start off with the sauce. So I've got some chicken broth here, and to this I'm going to add some balsamic vinegar, some red wine vinegar, and we're also going to add some honey to this. I'm going to wipe my little measuring spoon off here. We're going to add some honey, about 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to scrape all of this off into this mixture, and we're going to get this mixed together and set this to the side. I've got my pan heating on medium-low, and I've got some chicken seasoned on one side, just salt and pepper, and we're going to get those going. Alright, so I've got my pan heated up. I'm going to add some olive oil to my pan here. And we're going to sear off some chicken. Now I've got legs and thighs, but you can use whatever you have on hand. I'm going to season this other side with some salt and pepper. And we're going to let this go until it's nice and golden on both sides. And then we're going to remove it to a plate. And then I'll bring you back and we'll get this finished up. Alright, so this has been cooking for about 4 minutes on each side. It doesn't have to be cooked completely through. We're just going to remove this from the pan and set it to the side. Now I'm going to grab a spoon and we're going to get started on the rest of this. So I've got some bell peppers and some onion. I'm just going to add that in here. Now it calls for a chili. I do not have any, so I'm going to add some harissa later. But you can use any kind of spicy chili that you like. You could do poblano, jalapeno, whatever you like. But I'm going to add some harissa paste later. So we're just going to skip that. I'm going to season this up with a little bit of salt and pepper. And give that a little mix. And we're going to cook this down for about 5 to 7 minutes. Just until they start to get tender. And then we will add some more deliciousness and get this finished. Alright, these have softened. So we're going to go in and add some tomatoes. These are just cherry tomatoes that I've halved. I love the medley tomatoes, the different color ones, they're so good. But they didn't have any at the store, so that's fine. These are just as delicious. So we're going to let these cook down for about 2 to 3 minutes to soften up these tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and add in some basil. It calls for fresh basil and some fresh parsley. I do not have any at the moment, so I'm just going to add a little bit, probably about a half a teaspoon of basil and about 3/4 to a teaspoon of parsley. Open this up so we can get a little bit more out of it. There we go. Give this a little toss. This looks so delicious, and it smells good, and we're not even done yet. All right, so now I'm going to grab a little spoon, and I'm going to add some of this harissa paste in here, just for a little bit of heat. I'm going to do about 3 tablespoons. That should be good. We'll give this a little mix. Let these flavors start to develop. All right. Now I've got my sauce here that we made earlier. And I'm just going to give this another little mix. Make sure that honey is nice and mixed in and off the bottom of this cup. Add that right in here. We're just going to give this another little mix. Make sure it's all nice and combined. Oh, I just got a big hit of that sauce. It smells so good. So we're going to add the chicken back in. I'm going to do this skin side up, but you can do it however you want. I'm going to cut the heat, and I'm going to grab my oven mitts here, and we're going to put this in the oven, and we're going to roast this for about 40 to 45 minutes until this chicken registers 165 degrees, and then I'll show you everything when it gets done. Alright, now this chicken cooked for about 30 minutes until it registered 165 degrees on the thermometer, and then I just took it out and I let it rest for about 5 minutes before I served it. And here is my plate. I just served it with some rice, and this was absolutely delicious. This was a big hit in the house. It's so good. You and your family is going to love this one, so be sure to check out all of the recipes down in the description box below. But that is going to wrap up this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all.